Uga, welcome back to another iStableMaster developer update, the development update video series where I share the latest changes and work on the iStableMaster Hunter add-on for the World of Warcraft retail. In today's video, I'll take a closer look at version 0.40 R2 alpha version. Currently we are editing a lot of the code pertaining to the add-on and its various elements. It's called refactoring. So this means that there aren't as many new features added with the previous versions, but it's performance updates of the version 0.40 R1, and it's the first step towards a more productive development process in the future. This process is needed for our continued monthly update schedule, as I am returning to uni to finish my master thesis in 1 to 2 weeks. So it's kind of important. Now, we've done some small changes. This update here will specifically feature tonight's patch, which is also validated for version 10.0.5. And yeah, there's a bit of things that we need to talk about. First, this refactoring. What is refactoring, and why do it when those parts already work? Refactoring is a process of tidying up unstructured and overly complicated code, which means add-ons and changes to those bits of code would be unsustainable and, yeah, very time-consuming. Changes and updates that could take 1 to 5 lines of code may take several hundred or thousand lines of code without proper structure. More lines there are, the more time it takes to understand and formulate a plan of action. And well, in our case, the add-on code had become several thousand lines of code long in the implementation side. The database is inconsistent. Was inconsistently set and couldn't handle if there were changes or to the saved files between updates. So every time you had an update, you might have broken WTF files or whatnot. So, and those fields that did do this were inconsistently doing so. On all of this takes time to deal with and handle every update. Things that previously would take 6 to 7 hours to do can now be done in less than an hour, for instance. This is a huge step towards a more customizability for users like you. And this process isn't completely done with this update, but it will be done soon enough. Then we can continue the process of adding content more efficiently. And we do that next to doing refactoring, the last bits of it, because the refactoring part will continue to go on, but these are major changes, so to speak, that we're gonna have to do. Besides this update, there will be one more update before we start working on version 0.41, and if all goes well, that will be sometime during March 2023. Now, we have a few bug fixes this time around. I'll get around to this part again in a moment. So let's close this for now. So firstly, I'd like to thank those who reported bugs on our CurseForge page. It's been very helpful, and we got around to fixing all of them this patch. The first fix is that the tooltips used to break if you went over a Dragonhawk. They don't do that anymore. This was due to a spelling mistake. And this means basically that when we looked up expansion stuff for Dragonhawks, it would not find anything and it would break. We fixed that. In fact, if the refactoring process had been completed, then this would not have happened in the first place. So the idea is that we would in the future have the names listed only one place, so we don't have to change names and fix things multiple places. So this was caused by a fix from last time, caused another bug. So the second fix is, as you might also have noticed, that Aquiri is now appearing in this list here, and it didn't before, and that's because I had spelled it with a U, and when it compares with the game, then the game says, hey, it's spelled AQIRI and not AQUIRI. And so there is no match, and it would filter it out. So, but now it appears, it shows. So with that, we actually can see all of the pets now. The third fix, it has to do with, and this is gonna get fun, has to do with assigning favorites or favorite pets assignment or assignments of pets, right? So when you click something to be a favorite, like Big Samras, for instance, if you then applied one of these squats, which we can't do anymore, I'll get back to that, then first of all, this wouldn't kind of work, so it would break, because not all of the squats got swapped and so on. There was some code stuff that didn't quite work out. But also it would corrupt this the favorite stuff, because we didn't actually update the favorites. So that's where we could have some funky stuff going on there. We fixed that, which leads me to the fourth and final fix, which was this thing that didn't work. I actually fixed it so that now it would work if you apply a squat. But as you can see down here in the chat box, apply squat is temporarily disabled while we investigate EULA conformity. Sorry for the inconvenience. So it's kind of, yeah, well. So the Germans have a word called tragikomisch, which means it's tragic, but it's also comical. And the reason for that is that it's kind of lucky that it was broken, as it happens that we've started to question the precise way this is intended to work. More specifically, that would this be considered botting or cheating? And that's because you're only allowed to do one action per input. So with this in mind, we've actually deactivated the application of squats for now. We know this might be inconvenient for you, but we'd rather be forced to temporarily disable it until we get this sorted out than having more severe consequences as a result of this in the future. Some more information about this matter, what the basis for these recent changes is as follows, really. So, I can't show you it, but in the EULA, I'll be firstly, let me be very, very clear. You can safely use the add-on with no risk. We've taken care of that with this disabling. You're good to go. You will not be punished for using our add-on. Blizzard don't punish users anyway if they're using an add-on, which is against the rules in some way, if the players knowing this is not aware of this anyway. So, but you can safely use ours because we've made sure that all our versions are good. In the EULA, it specifically says the following about cheating. Cheating: create, use, offer, promote, advise, or advertise, make available or distribute the following or assist therein. Number 1, cheating. It is methods not expressly authorized by Blizzard, whether accomplished using hardware, software, or a combination thereof, or otherwise, influencing and or facilitating gameplay, including exploits of any in-game box, and thereby granting you and or any other user an advantage over other players not using such methods. Number 2, bots. It is any code and or software not expressly authorized by Blizzard that allows the automated control of a game or any other feature of the platform, e.g. the automated control of a character in a game. And that's just an example, right? This could be any kind of automation, which is the one that I'm holding on to here. According to 1 and 2, this is generally explained as one input is required for every one action. The area here is very gray and vague, but one could interpret that moving pet is pets in the stable would require an input for each such action to occur, which could be drag and drop, for instance. That's one action. We don't want to risk this being interpreted by Blizzard as a violation. So what we have done first is to reach out to the GMs who are not allowed to answer this. And then we've reached out to Blizzard through an email directly involved with WoW UI questions and such, specifically for UI developers. While waiting for an answer, we've decided to disable the feature until the matter has been resolved. And if Blizzard determines this would be a violation, then we will either apply for an authorization if possible, and if not, we will change the implementation so that the user will have to click 6 times in one way or another. I'll repeat what I said earlier one more time. You can safely use the add-on as we've made sure that the feature in question does not work. We will be pulling previous versions from Cursor, or actually we already done that, to make sure that these don't work by accident. So everybody should be safe, right? So this could mean, for instance, that we want to maybe have you click on each one of or apply, like something like that. If we cannot get any automation to be authorized in any kind of way, if it's gonna be that way, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be not as easy as it was before. Maybe click this for each time and then it swaps. I don't know yet. We're looking into this only if we cannot get the answer that this is okay for us. So hopefully we will be able to reactivate it at some point. But for now, we're just gonna leave it deactivated for a while. All right. So as I said, I wanted to get back to that thing. So here, iStableMaster. As you can see, we are now updating it, and it looks very different from what it did. So we've updated both in the tooltip and the name, which means you will now find the add-on listed among these first icons. So if you have add-ons with icons in front of it, it will be at the bottom of the list, because otherwise it will start with this kind of stuff. So instead of being under I, it will be here instead. And we've tested this on the add-on on the PTR for some weeks now, so we will update the interface to 10.0.5 as well. Additionally, we have updated the mouse drag. I'm not actually sure. This is not actually from the TOC change, but this is such an update, so it will now take a little more effect to drag this thing. And that has to do with the registration of the dead zone, so to speak, to initiate the function to drag a pet. Didn't work great above 1080p with the previous implementation, so we've changed that. We got more updates in the next patches, or are already in the next patch, being worked on right now, and some of these have included the changelog. I have included in the changelog. More details to come on these in the near future. And with that said, this concludes the developer update, and as always, you are more than welcome to help us bug reporting and contact us on CurseForge if you have any questions. This patch will go live tonight with 10.0.5, and that will be in approximately now when you see this video. So it might not appear on the CurseForge client immediately, but it will appear eventually. Goodbye for now.